Okay. Sorry about that. So it's creative writing, but the pupils actually write them stories themselves using specific software. Interactive fiction, it's been around since the 80s when they used to play games like Zork, and you get a little bit of text, and if you were lucky and you had a really good computer, you might have got an image at the top giving you some kind of picture of what was going on. And you'd be given some text, and you'd be given the decision, what do you want to do next? So use axe on troll, or go west, or go south. But you'd have to navigate your way through. I spent probably most of my teen years playing Zork, and I've never really touched any since until quite recently when somebody introduced me to it. So you can go on text adventures, you've got choose your own adventure, folk stories or hyperlink narrative. The way these have moved on now with this specific software, it's crazy what you can do with them. There's some software online called Quest, and you can write your own runes and put your own characters in. The whole idea behind using it to improve literacy is reading the text of the game now becomes playing games. The writing is in effect game design. You don't only have to do it with ICT, you can do it cross-curricular like we do with ICT in English. So next year we're looking at doing something maybe with the Titanic, and we'll make a cabin, the bridge and the galley. We'll create the rooms, and then the pupils can write the stories around it and decide what goes on. To create the puzzles for people to complete when they're playing, it requires some fairly complex thinking skills to go on to create puzzles for other people to solve. So for instance, somebody might want somebody to go through a door, and the only way they can go through the door is if they've got a key. Well, then they'll have to go and find the key from somewhere. Where's the key going to be? Hopefully not somewhere too obvious. If you want to make it a bit more difficult, you can have a password. They've got to go and find the password. You can split the password up into different locations. The kind of stuff you can do is it's fairly straightforward. I've got an address where you get some resources with a guide as well. So you don't need to know how to use this software. There's a full guide that we've put together. You can either download the software or you can play it online. I'm not affiliated to this software in any way at all. It's something that I've been introduced to. It's called Quest. You can get it from textadventures.co.uk. On the left hand side you can see we've got game, commands, room and player, functions and timers we don't need to worry about in a minute. You can add as many rooms as you like. Probably beneficial you don't have more than 2 or 3 at the very start of a new game. You can put descriptive narrative when they walk in a room, so as soon as they enter a new room, they might go west and enter a courtyard. You can put the exact text you want to appear, and you can add objects to specific rooms. You can add objects within objects, so you can have things like containers, which would be a cupboard. You can put things in cupboards and hide them away for people to find. So, the best thing I found for starting a new game, I wrote one that you can have a look at, which was a basic game for pupils to have a go at before they start making their own. So it's not too complex, it's not a massive game. There's another one online if you want to have a go at it called 905, as in the time 905. You can play it online. It probably takes about 15 minutes to play the whole game through. But if you play that game, you get a good idea of how you're meant to play these kind of games. So 2 or 3 room games probably best to start with. You don't want any more than that because it starts getting really complex. The software can work out the exits for you, so if you want to go west from one room into another room or north, it will automatically join the room so it doesn't get too stretchy on the brain, because it gets quite complex at times. The descriptive narrative of the game, of the rooms themselves, or of the characters, or of the objects, that's where the literacy really comes in. So make it as descriptive as possible as you would with any literacy task, and it really draws the reader into wanting to play it more and find other objects. It's good to put a few red herrings in there as well, like there's a new one that's got a magnet in it. People are saying, what do we need the magnet for? They don't need it for anything, but they're carrying around this magnet looking for somewhere to use it. You can create 1 or 2 puzzles that require solving, and before the game you can either win the game or proceed to another room. So again, like a passcode, or the one school I'm working with at the minute, they've made a science one, and they've got this lab, and before they can proceed to the next room, they've got all these chemicals around the room. They've got to mix these chemicals in a certain way to produce a certain result, and then in that way they can get out of the room and get on to the next one. So it's not just literacy that's benefiting. You've got the IT in making the game, and then you've got science skills coming through as well. The game that I've got, the guide that I've got at the end, it should be on the blog later. It's a fairly hefty document, but it's mostly screenshots of how to use the software. Now, if you were to just print this off or print it on your VLE and give the children this, there'd be no reason why they couldn't create that. I think it's a 2 or 3 room game. Basically, it's got 3 boxes in the room, and the pupils have got to pick a box, and if they pick the wrong box, the alien jumps out and eats them. If they pick the right box, they win. I think there's aliens in 2 of them. but the guide would allow you to do a whole game without really having any expertise of using the software. If you download it, or if you do it online, you can do either or to write the games from textadventures.co.uk. This is one that I wrote a while ago, like I said, for the pupils to have a go at, called Escape from Byron Bay. You can have a look at what that's about. It's only a tiny game. It's quite tricky, because there's a passcode that they need to get out, which is in 3 parts, and you can never find the third piece. It's quite difficult. Since I wrote this, it's probably the first half term of the year. It's been played online 857 times, and it's been downloaded 134 times. I looked, not this morning, yesterday morning, I think it was, and there's another school in Southampton had a go at it, and it's gone to about 60 or 70 odd. They do play them, they love them, the kids are going crazy over them. I wrote another one with the guy from Southampton, and the kids are just loving playing interactive games and writing them themselves. That's the blog, the address of the blog. The link with all the resources should be on there later on. There is a help sheet for teachers to use to print out or whatever you want to do to go through the whole game. There's a file of the actual file for Escape from Byron Bay if you want to play it. And the guide looks a little bit like that, so it's just got step 1, step 2, step 3, now click this, now click this, now click this. And it just shows you how to add rooms, how to add characters, and how to add objects and interact between them. And the way you interact is just using the verbs. If you want to add new verbs, you can add one yourself, or you can use the ones that are already built in. That's pretty much it. It's a complex piece of software if you make it complex, but just to follow a basic example, it's really enjoyable, and for the cross-curricular links I found it's been very beneficial. I'm sure that's it as well. All right, thank you.